But joining us now, without further ado, Senator-elect Bill DeSteph. Hey, Bill, good to have you with us, man.
Thanks, Sean. Good to be here, buddy. How are you doing this wonderful morning?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. The debate on these refugees now in Virginia raging. You might have known that Scott Lingenfelter yesterday fired a letter off to Governor McAuliffe wanting assurances that these refugees are vetted properly. Now, look, Bill, let's be honest with each other. You served several decades as an intelligence officer in the U.S. Armed Services. So if there's anybody that knows a little bit about vetting terrorists, it's State Senator Elect DeSteph. What do you make of this whole thing?
Well, let's kind of hit the numbers real quick. The number one job of our elected officials is what? The safety and security of our citizens. Bam. Let's take another look at the numbers. The 5 wealthiest Gulf nations, Qatar, UAE, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Bahrain, refused to take a single Syrian refugee. Amnesty International describes that as shameful. 4 million Syrians have fled so far. So think about this, just for 1 minute. 5 wealthiest Arab nations refused to take a single Syrian. We're going to take them here in Virginia. We're going to fly them 8,000 miles with a language barrier, a cultural barrier, a climate barrier, a social barrier. What that tells me is our Secretary of State, John Kerry, is not doing his job. If he did his job, he would go to the 5 wealthiest Gulf nations, sit down with them, Qatar, UAE, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, sit down with them and say, hey, guys, guess what? We saved your butts on more than one occasion. Think about Gulf War I, Kuwaiti liberation, et cetera, et cetera. I was over there. I know the details. But think about that for 1 minute and think about why would we fly these people into the United States 8,000 miles away with a language, cultural, climate, and social barrier and provide them refuge here when they should be doing it there? And if you're a Syrian refugee, if you think about it, they don't want to leave their own country. They want to get back to their own country as soon as possible. Go to the closest country, set up refugee camps there, and then as soon as things cool down in their own country, let them get back to where they want to live. They don't want to come to America. Return them to their country when they can get back. Don't fly them 8,000 miles away, halfway around the world, to put them in an environment they're uncomfortable with. And then look at the global situation. Honduras just arrested the Honduran police. And they're not the top rank, top trained police force, but they arrested 5 Syrians with stolen Greek passports between the age of 20 and 25 years old. Think about this. A year ago, they said ISIS said we're going to flood Europe with 5,000 Muslims. 5,000, and I'm not saying that's good or bad. But they said we're going to flood Europe with 500,000 more Muslims, and we're going to have terrorist camps all over the place. Well, threats to Times Square, that hit yesterday. It's bam, 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 bam. One thing after another, after another, after another. I serve on the Secure Commonwealth panel. You want to secure the Commonwealth? Don't take the refugees. Go to Secretary Kerry, say, Mr. Kerry, go to Qatar, Bahrain, UAE, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, say, hey, we've saved your butts on more than one occasion. You guys need to step up to the plate and take these refugees in. You need to do the right thing.
Well, this is unfathomable for average people listening to my show and across America today. It's unfathomable to think that these 5 richest countries, maybe in the world, as you mentioned, United Arab Emirates, the Saudis, Kuwait, Qatar, Dubai, etc., they're walking distance for these refugees, and they're Muslim countries. They won't take in, Bill, a single one of them, not one. Yet, as you said, we're supposed to fly them 8,000 miles over an ocean and resettle them in the United States. And this is the other thing that people don't understand. The country's broke. We are $20 trillion in debt. We've got 26,000 homeless people right now in the city of Los Angeles. We have veterans all over the United States, Senator, that are suffering, homeless, penniless. We don't do anything to help them, but we're going to spend all this money to fly these people in from the Middle East when their own brethren countries don't want them. How does this make any sense?
Well, think about this. The top 20 nations given aid to the Syrian refugees are who? The U.S., 2 to 4 billion, number one. UK, between 920 million and 1.5 billion. Kuwait. So Kuwait they're stepping it up a little bit with giving some money, but 764 million. So they're basically giving about less than a third of what the U.S. is giving. So, yeah, there's some disparity here. There's some problems. And again, whose responsibility is it to take care of this on a global perspective? Amnesty International will tell you that what's happening is shameful. The 5 Arab nations are the ones who should be taking care of these issues. When 4 million Syrians have fled, they've not taken a one of them. Not a one. So John Kerry needs to get up and do the job that he was appointed to. Keep in mind, I said appointed, not elected. He was appointed to. He needs to sit down with those 5 wealthiest Arab or Gulf nations and talk to them and say, it's your responsibility. You need to step up to the plate and do the right thing. Instead, we're saying, we're going to take these refugees into Virginia. We're going to take them into, I think it's Michigan is one of the states. So imagine living in the desert your entire life, and then you're going to get tossed into Roanoke, Virginia, where it's snowing. What are you going to think? You're not going to be ready for it. It just doesn't make sense. So, like I said, I opened with, I serve on the Secure Commonwealth panel. The number one job of our elected officials is safety and security of our citizens. You've got to step up and do the right thing. You want to secure the Commonwealth? Don't accept the refugees. That's the smartest thing to do. The second smartest thing, make sure they're completely, thoroughly vetted before you do. But the bottom line is, step up, do the right thing, Secretary Kerry. Step up. Go and sit down with the 5 Gulf nations and say, guys, you need to step it up. You need to do the right thing. You need to do your job. You need to have, you need to help settle these refugees. Well, the U.S. is just going the wrong direction on this one.
What is the objective? I mean, we've got Senator Kaine on today at 7:35. He came out immediately and said, "Look, we can't be intimidated. We can't alter what we're doing." But I had Congressman Frank Ginta from New Hampshire on yesterday, Senator DeSteph, and he said that the majority of the vetting process happens after the refugees are in the United States. So they go get processed, they come in, then the FBI does the majority of their vetting process. Well, my question to him is, well, if I'm in the U.S. and I'm in the U.S. under false pretenses, like I've got a false passport, I'm a terrorist, I'm not legitimate, okay? Why am I going to hang around in my resettlement subdivision while the FBI is checking me out and they're going to eventually out me and handcuff me and take me away? Why would I be staying there? I would think that As soon as I get there, I'm going to leave.
But think about this. They don't want to be here. They want to be back in their own country or as close as possible so as soon as things calm down, they can get back to their own country. They don't want to be in the United States. That's the last place they want to be, halfway around the world from their home country.
Delegate Lingenfelter firing a pretty explosive letter off yesterday to Terry McAuliffe. Now, our governor has taken the position that we need to accept these refugees in Virginia. There's basically 10 resettlement areas in Virginia. There's none on the south side. One of them in Newport News, 2 in Roanoke, 2 in Richmond, the others in Northern Virginia, 1 in Fredericksburg. Are we doing the right thing?
In my opinion, absolutely not. Again, think about the first thing I said. The number one job of our elected officials is the safety and security of our citizens. You're not taking a look. You're not focusing on the safety and security of our citizens if you don't do something like this without thinking about it, without truly taken the right steps. I mean, I understand I'm as compassionate as the next guy. I really am. But the hardworking Americans deserve, our hardworking Commonwealth, our hardworking Virginians deserve better than this. You know, we have homeless people in the country, in the state, in every single one of our towns. We can't take care of them. We're not willing to work and take care of them, but we're willing to take in tens of thousands of refugees. What are we thinking? How about take care of the home side first, focus on the safety and security of our citizens. Let's not import terrorists if we don't need to. And I'm going to tell you, just like they learned in France, you're not going to take these refugees without some terrorist embedded. And I disagree with the president. I disagree with Terry McAuliffe when they say, oh, you don't want to take children and women? Take a look at what we're taking. Take a look at take a look at who we're taking. Take a look at what we're doing. We're getting ready to take 10,000 refugees into the United States of all ages, of all sexes, of everything. We are taking them in, and we're not thinking about who it is. We're not going to say, oh, well, you know, okay, we've taken 10,000 people here. Now we're going to put them through the vetting process. Once you're here, do you really think we're going to ship them 8,000 miles back? Where are we going to send them to? Not a well-thought-out plan, not in the best interest of Virginia, not in the best interest of what we're doing.
All right, that's going to be the final word. We want to thank Senator-elect Republican Bill DeSteph for joining us today, and he's got his caucus meeting today. I'm sure we'll find out sometime today who the Republican Senate leadership team is as they go through their meeting. Senator-elect DeSteph, thanks for being with us, man.
Thanks for having me on, John. Have an awesome day, and thanks for touching on the issue.